Hey, everybody, welcome to Cars with Cocktails, a show where Charles and I drink stuff and talk about car stuff. Today, we're joined by a guest, Megan from Volkswagen of America. Megan is the vehicle content manager. Now, I'm probably going to say that.
that is not at all what she said.
For product planner for Arteon and Golf models.
I thought we decided it was the German import manager or
German
something
import
like that.
Liaison.
None of those words are what she said. Megan, I hope that you like within 35 seconds, we have already managed to completely screw up something you literally just told us.
We just talked about it just moments ago. So why don't you say your actual title, and I'll see how close I got.
Okay, Paul, you weren't that close other than the fact that you got the Volkswagen part, the Golf part, and the Arteon part correct.
You got the Megan part too right, though.
Okay,
let's give him all the credit
Yes.
we need to give him.
That's true.
Thank
Full
you.
credit.
So I'm
A solid D minus.
My official job title is Golf and Arteon product manager for Volkswagen of America. So you use synonyms to that, like liaison, yes.
Ooh, I did say product.
I liaise with the factories and the various business units and the dealers.
Yeah. So essentially, for boil it down in simple terms, you handle packaging content for the cars for Volkswagen for those specific models.
Basically, yeah. So I do everything in my power to check the box on business case, on profit targets, on what the dealers want, on what the customers want, on what Volkswagen of America wants, what Volkswagen Germany requires before anything can actually make it over here for Golf, GTI, Golf R, Arteon.
And no matter how many times you stamp your feet, a Golf R wagon probably isn't going to get here.
If I had $1 for every time that was brought up to me or shit, like I tried to make that happen with my management team, I probably would have enough to be retired by now.
Yeah. So a lot of people also may not know, or you may have met Megan in the past because she also attends a lot of event stuff. So I guess you're not officially part of the event team, but you also happen to be at basically every event.
I certainly try to be. I don't get to attend as many events, obviously pre-COVID, as I wanted to, just because of work schedules and whatever else. But man, that sounds like a cool job to go to like all the events. If I could just like show up with one of my cars and just hang out, that would be sweet. But yeah, I get to go to a couple. It's been pretty cool. And I'll continue to do so as long as we continue to have events. But COVID, man.
Fucking COVID. I have two questions.
COVID.
Question one, what beverage? Oh, sorry about that, little friend. What beverage are we enjoying this evening? And then question two, so I don't
Paul
forget them right away. Sorry, Paul, if you already said that, I wasn't listening. And after the drink thing, let's talk about your fleet as an enthusiast and someone who works for the man, Volkswagen of America.
The man. Okay, so tonight's beverage is margarita wine. It's brought to you by the fine folks at Kirkland Signature, aka Costco. And it's literally margarita, but wine in a bottle.
How is it a margarita and like, I don't understand.
Look, if it comes from Kirkland Signature, you know it's going to be good.
We don't question that shit.
We don't
I
ask
don't question that shit.
You put wine, you put margarita in the name, it's good.
If you can survive what's in this, then you don't need to worry about what's in the coronavirus vaccine.
Hell yeah. And I saw a little glimpse as the camera flashed to Paul momentarily. Paul, I'm starting to feel like there ain't no law over there, man.
I have the Claw, which
What
is
flavor?
This is black cherry, which is I can't say I've had a lot of these before, but I do think this one's pretty good. This is the Zima of 2019. White Claw.
It is this generation's Zima. So you've had Zima clearly. How do you compare the two with the Claw or Zima? Like, if you could pick one, which would you?
White Claw is far superior. Zima is a guaranteed stomach ache. because of how much sugar there is in it. You have like,
Zima's a problem because it's a malt beverage.
well, that too, yes, for sure. But it's just like, it hits your stomach like a rock every time you have, especially you want to drink like 3 of them, you're done.
Ugh.
No chance.
It's like a hangover during while you're drinking it.
Yes.
No thanks.
It's the sugar.
Yeah, the Zima. Well, maybe we'll do Zima one of these episodes together.
I thought it was discontinued.
I
We
don't.
could probably
it back?
find some new. We could probably find some new old stock.
It is a malt beverage, so it should hold. I guess I don't know how malt beverages hold up over many years, but Zima with Jolly Ranchers was always a thing talked about that I've never had.
I've never had that either. I don't think.
But yeah. The Claw. What about you, Charles? What do you consider?
So I am drinking 2 different Angry Badger assholes, or whatever they are. So one is not another New England IPA. It's both juicy and citrusy. I don't really taste the juiciness of it. The other one, this is from a local brewery, and the other one is because I was open 2 because I'll usually drink both, and I've been out of the beer game for a while, so I don't really remember what all these taste like. And this one is a High Lie, or a Ja'i Alai, if you want to say it that way, from Cigar City, which I believe is in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Brewed with 6 hop variants or Angry Badger assholes. Is that what, Paul, the flavoring is in an IPA?
Yes, that's correct. So that is what I call IPAs, or at least the flavor I describe IPAs as tasting like, because I'm personally
no love
not a fan.
for IPA.
I am not a fan of IPAs.
Man, Paul, I gotta question our friendship.
I don't think hoppy beer is good. I just can't get behind it. It doesn't taste good.
But Megan, if you ever want to enjoy a fine, tall mug, a pint perhaps, of old fish tank water, Paul would enjoy a lager with you, because that's what I feel like lagers taste like, is fish tank water. But
Dude.
I digress. Let's pop into that fleet that you got. I noticed the fleet of golfs on your shirt, which is
man,
awesome.
this is official driver gear. Driver gear just brought back the real deal here. We go Mark,
currently
Mark
available now.
Mark 7. Yeah, and it's got like a nice old school R logo on one of the back shoulders here. Do
they have it in any other color than black?
No, unfortunately, it's just black. But it's a super nice, like, new era sweatshirt, so it's high quality. It's good. So I've got one of these guys, as you guys know, but Deep Blue Pearl Mark IV R32. That guy is sitting happy in my garage right now. I just had the roof resprayed to deal with a little bit of New England magic that had worked its way into the rain gutters. So he's looking real fine.
Their stuff's expensive. What? Sorry, I forgot how expensive driver gear is.
Yeah. That shit, I'll give you my code.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I need that shit. This does look like a badass sweatshirt.
Yeah. So driver gear always, as somebody who was in the dealer world and sold a lot of driver gear in my day, it always is super nice stuff, but it is also generally fairly expensive. So
it is. That licensed stuff is a lot.
At least if you're spending a bunch of money, you're getting a quality product along with it. So,
well, as you should.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap. What was it, like $65 retail, Charles?
Yeah, $62.95.
Shit.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
I didn't pay that much.
Yeah,
it's cool though. I like the little R thing on the back. I think we were trying to example that. That's really neat.
Yeah, I worked with Sean and the vendor for driver gear to try to bring back more vintage R stuff. So this is the first. Hopefully there's more coming.
Now's the
Hopefully
time.
We can bring back more in time for Wookiees.
I'm telling you, R32s are at probably their all-time high and all-time desirability. I
tried to explain that to my dad, and he just didn't get it.
That's because your dad's probably a rational thinking human and not someone with a screw loose like the majority of us in the R32 world that just...
He's not a German car fan, so he doesn't understand the disease. So yeah, R32 in the garage, and then the other jewel, a 2002 Cabrio GLX. So
2002 Cabrio.
That's right.
And
beautiful, cool white.
It still has a 2 liter in it, right?
That beautiful ABA.
Hey, they're
Nice.
reliable.
That's so reliable.
It's not fast, but it is reliable. That's for sure.
No, but that is a fun car. That is a fun, slow car, obviously with the top down. She's a peach. 125,000 miles, picked her up like a year and a half ago. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. And then the other car is a 2019 GTI Rabbit Edition in cornflower blue. And that's my company car. So unfortunately, that won't be a permanent part of the fleet, but shit, I love that car.
Yeah, I like that blue. I'm not a blue fan generally. I like obviously R32 blues, but aside from that, I'm not a huge blue fan. But I really do like that cornflower blue.
Yeah, cornflower is pretty cool. Yeah, we brought it back in a super small number for some of the 2021 GTIs, and like some of the Rabbit fans are super pissed about it.
Yeah, I assume there was a good amount of Rabbit Edition people that I've seen around, customers we have, whatever, that I've seen. So I would expect that to be a fairly decent seller.
Yeah, I mean, we did 1,000 Rabbit Editions in cornflower blue, and there are less than 700 total cornflower edition or cornflower blue GTIs for 2021. So it doesn't really stampede on the Rabbit Edition too much. Yeah. The color alone does not make a special edition.
No.
Right? Wait a minute.
Unless it's a
back
Spectrum.
That fucking trolley up for just 1 second here. Now all of a sudden I feel I got damn bamboozled.
I've been hoodwinked.
You didn't read the fine print, Charles. I said except Spectrum.
Son of a bitch. I didn't read the fine print.
Which I was going to touch on. So Megan also was. Now, did you deliver every Spectrum car, or you were just?
Oh God, I wish I could have. That would have been so cool to literally go to all 199 deliveries, but no, I just did a handwritten card to each original customer.
But you had been in communication with all the people, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, just via a card.
Yeah. So you obviously know all the colors that exist. Many of them. Is there any that didn't get chosen at all?
Yes, there were actually 7 that never were chosen or never were produced for North America or for the United States.
Which are what colors?
Oh God, man, I got to go pull up my computer. I can name a few of them off the top of my head. Futura yellow, oxide red, ice blue. Shoot. And then there are 4 others. I can go get my computer if it's that important.
No, it doesn't matter.
And other. No, I got to say one of the cool, definitely unexpected benefits of being part of the Cool Guy Spectrum Club was getting the little badge with the color swatch and the handwritten, and you and I know each other. So like, it was cool anyway, but I just think of myself as like some random person on the other side of the country that bought one of these cars, not knowing anybody from VWA or anything like that, and getting this amazing handwritten letter by just one of the people so heavily involved in that program. And dude, that is so cool. And that's the kind of shit that like limited production cars, that's what should be happening in my opinion. So bravo to you for that. That's one of these days I'm going to frame that in if I ever get unlazy. So it's never going to happen.
Well, you have kind of against your yellow water bottle there. No, I was going to say, like, for me, it was super cool. Like, we'll just continue the love fest here. Sorry, Paul. To like write a card to the humble mechanic and be like, dude, this guy bought a Ginster yellow Spectrum Golf R. Like, that was fucking cool to write that to you, and there were a few people whom I knew personally, you included, and a few other folks where I actually got to be like, writing a letter to somebody I knew, but it was also just as special to write it to like, somebody who I probably won't ever meet in person. If I do, that's super cool, like at a show or whatever. But yeah, I was like, why not just write a card?
Yeah, I think that was a really awesome touch. I agree with Charles. I think doing that for especially limited runs like that it's possible I think makes a pretty different experience for that customer, especially considering it's such a different car in general in terms of like who would buy most of them,
Right. Because a lot of people are like, who's going to spend $2,500 on special
a different
paint?
color, right? Yeah, different color car, basically,
right?
Is all. And most people, you got to really care to want to do that. So that's a unique version of the enthusiast who would do that.
Yeah.
I have kind of an
Golf art people are
oddball.
cool.
I have an oddball spectrum question, not of course related to mine at all, but since I just have this question, what are your thoughts on like heavily modifying that kind of car? Like they're limited, right? There's a handful of one of ones. There was a handful of like one of under 10. I think the most popular was like one of 33. So very, very limited run.
Spot on.
How do you feel about people modifying them? I think like there's two ways we can approach the modifying of these cars. There's the factory-ish kind of modification, right? OEM plus is what a lot of people call.
Yeah.
Like Melissa's car, like my car.
Yeah,
I think
like
both
wheels,
kind of fit.
suspension. Right.
What about some that like they get real wild? Is part of you like
there's a certain a certain racing green and a certain iris green, both of which
those are the two I was thinking.
You know the ones, right? Man, so I feel that same like conflict between the two, because like they're already pretty rare cars. Like a Golf R is not a super rare car. Some people are like, oh, it's just a Golf, but we know that's not the case. And then
that's
you
what
take
I
a
tell
Spectrum.
people that I don't want them to know it's anything special. Like I almost
like
got
insurance?
pulled over today. Well, the insurance knows. They also are like, sir, you're adding another car to your policy. Yes, Benita, I'm adding another car to the policy. But
like my kid's already driving. I don't know.
It's the weirdest thing. So we were driving today, and we took my car to deliver some Girl Scout cookies. Which thanks for the order, by the way. And my daughter, who is going to be 6 in a few months, she's like, Dad, can we do a turbo launch? I was like, yeah, baby, we can do it as soon as it's appropriate. And so we're coming to a corner and I'm turning right and I go hard into the intersection, stab the brakes, cut it and punch it. And my wife's just terrified, I know. And dude, not a second after I'm like full in the throttle, I see a police officer. Luckily, he had someone else pulled over. And my wife's like, you just flew by a cop making all kinds of damn racket in this fucking car. I'm like, no. It's not that loud. And it's just a Golf. She's like, whatever. You're an idiot.
It's also
she
yellow.
didn't call me an idiot, but just to be fair, I added that. But
yellow is the fastest colors.
It is.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like modifications are so personal, right? Like what one person loves on his or her car, like you go on the internet, like armchair expert world, and like everybody in the Facebook forum is either going to like flame you for it or they're going to say, nice build, man. So I think modifications are so highly personal. And then you take a car that's already pretty rare. If you're going to keep that car forever, modify the shit out of it if that's what makes you happy, But I think it's just like any other car. Like when you try to sell it and it's been super heavily modified, and then when it's like against or yellow, it might be that much harder to sell. Maybe. I mean, you're probably not going to get all that money back ever on the mods, right? So what he or she does to their Golf R, that's completely up to them, right?
Yeah, I think
I think it's cool to see what people do, but I'm a purist. Like I'm very much an OEM plus person, so it's tough for me to say without being biased.
So would a TTRS swap in a Golf R qualify as OEM plus? You would say?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
Definitely, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Let me help with that.
Hey, if you got access,
hey, send me that.
You got interest.
Code. Yeah.
Yeah, can you send me some extra boxes of cookies for that? Thanks.
You know it.
Yeah. So I think modifying. Well, the interesting thing for me is I'm curious to see in the future in terms of Spectrum cars what their value is on resale for, and I'm sure it's going to be variable depending on car, like color, right? So, right. I'm wondering something like is it Caribbean blue?
Caribbean green.
Caribbean green. Yes.
I don't ever see her getting rid of that car.
She won't.
Yeah. I thought there was one local to us that was Caribbean green, but I don't know. Maybe it's slightly different color.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a spectrum color like that. For example, that one I feel like could, if you have one of the iconic colors like Charles or even Viper green, I think probably fits the bill of something that might be desirable because it fits a certain look or aesthetic.
Yeah.
The more unique ones, like the pink one that
hey, it's traffic purple. Get it right.
Well, I don't even understand who named that color, because that is magenta, and
It is.
that is 100% not purple, even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
The color's awesome. We have 3 in the US. I follow a girl in Canada who has one, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and it's a cool color. I mean, I can't dispute it. I certainly don't think it makes sense. I assume most of the people who own them are going to be women, but it is loud. That is a loud color.
Yes, super
like,
loud.
Yeah, it's like Viper green, but if you turned it pink, right? So
okay,
that's exactly what it is.
It's like Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy.
Right, exactly. They're perfect together. But totally. Yeah, so that color, I have a feeling that's a tough sell. You got that one, traffic cone pink, or whatever.
Pepto-Bismol suppository.
Yes. It's neon Pepto-Bismol is what we'll call it.
Okay.
So that color, I suspect, is going to be a tough resale market, whereas some of the other colors will be a much better situation.
I think Violet Touch is one of those colors that's going to be super easy to resell.
Yeah, right? I love that purple.
It's not wild. It's one of the most popular colors, but it's also like palatable, probably to more buyers in the future.
Yeah.
More so than like Cliff Green. It personally really surprised me that Cliff Green was the number 2 most popular color in the US.
It is surprising.
Like Cliff Green is.
Okay, how about this? For the
loud.
Spectrum nerds in the room and the real, give us a rundown. Top 10 colors, Spectrum, top to bottom.
And who owns them and where,
and
what's the date they purchased.
Social security numbers.
I can't tell you those things. I don't know that. And a lot of them are on their second owners by now, so it doesn't matter. I don't have that all memorized at the moment, and I know
roughly
at spectrum.only on Instagram is probably like flaming me for this right now. He's one of our biggest enthusiasts and like tracks all this stuff religiously. Kudos to Adam for that. But number 1 in the US, Viper Green, 33 cars by far. Number 2, Cliff Green, 19 cars. Number 3, Ginster, 13. Then it starts to get a little fuzzy for me, especially after a couple of these margarita wines.
I think is it 91 Blue next?
91 Blue is at 12 cars. Violet Touch is also at 12 cars.
God, I love that color.
I think Deep Violet is 10. Damn, where Jazz Blue is like 7, I think. Then we start to get into like numbers that are smaller than 10 for like the 1 of 7s. There are a lot of 1 of 7s, a lot of 1 of 6, a lot of 1 of 5s. Pretty much all the grays, like dust gray and squirrel gray, are both like 1 of 5 or 1 of 6. Then you have a lot of obscure ones like slate gray, which are like 1 of 2. But what really surprised me is some of the heritage colors like deep blue pearl, right? Mark 4, Mark 5 R32. I figured people will be all over deep blue. We only had 4 of those.
Yeah.
Which surprised me.
I think because I think if people are spending, I assume, this is just my perspective, if you're spending $2,500 for basically paint, you want to do it and it should be different and not look like a car should have come that way, right? So that's why I assume most of the colors are loud, other than some of the interesting grays, right?
Right. Biggest surprise to me, Caribbean green. How that car is 1 of 1 blows my mind. Because that color is just fucking gorgeous. Only one in North America. Former
I think the problem with that, though, is like that color does not translate very well in a color swatch. So like, unless you know the color, it almost just like looks like another teal or another green. I mean, even talking to the owner of the car, they had to buy a new camera because the camera they had like would not properly capture the color. I'm sure they could have, but like, right.
They have such dope photos of that car too.
Yeah. I see all of their pictures. I'm like, man, I thought I took a lot of pictures of my car, but y'all got like a ton of banging pictures. I'm a little
I need to like
jealous.
hire their photographer to like
Right.
take pics of my R32.
I did actually, though. Funny enough, you mentioned, Deep Blue Pearl, which is this color right here. I had that conversation before I got the Ginster one, which was sort of like I picked it and it sort of just kind of all worked out, because had I had complete control, I would be driving a traffic pink Golf R. So I, no hate on the color, but I feel like I dodged a bit of a bullet because I didn't want a pink car. I wanted a purple car.
That's fair.
I love the violet touch. I'm a
same.
Me too.
But it was kind of like what Paul said. This is like, it's cool because it's this car in this color. If it were the R, I think it's just another blue. And there's so many better blues or more attractive blues for that car, I think. 91 probably being my favorite, that, you have to go with that. And I don't know, it's like either insanely cool or the most ridiculously nerdy thing, not necessarily in a good way all the time, to have two of like grandson, granddad cars in the same color. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I got my book to jog my memory.
Yeah. If it was me personally, if I was going to buy a Mark IV R32, I would only want it in blue. I would not want a silver one or a red one or a black one. That would be
Blue's the fastest color, right, Charles?
That's my personal preference. But that's only because, to me, if it's a Mark IV R32, it should be blue, at least the way, like, in my head. But yeah.
Well, and that's the only one that's different from all the other Golfs. Like Black Magic Pearl was a 20th color.
Yeah.
Tornado Red and Reflex Silver are normal common colors. They're normal colors.
And Rising Blue showed up on an EOS. So
was that like really like blue?
That was a Mark 5. That was the Mark 6 Golf R color.
The Mark 6 R color. So that's not the color I'm thinking of.
No, that was like the blue for Mark 6. Showed up on an EOS. So I was just reminded of Prussian Blue Metallic. That was like I think that's one of 12 or one of 10 as well.
By the way, this is definitely going to be way too big of an edit, because now I am forced to actually show some of this shit on the screen. Otherwise, it's going to be useless.
And here it's like,
I don't think.
It's like,
I hand punched these to like make the owner cards.
Oh, nice.
So I think so I have many versions of books. So Charles, I might have punched your Ginster from this page.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Maybe.
let's show some of the colors, since you got that sweet ass book right there. I'm not gonna say
here comes Paul's video editing, and go.
And done. Well, just name a color. We'll be like,
actually, I don't know what's the second most popular green you said?
Cliff green.
Cliff green. Show Cliff green.
Yeah.
Is that the darker? That's not the darker green.
Cliff green is like non-metallic, wild.
I'll show you what it looks like, Paul. I got a swatch right here. This is Cliff green.
It is. Oh, is that a grip mat? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it in my dimly lit living room. Cliff green.
Okay. And where's traffic cone orange, pink?
Well, let me pull that guy up.
That one.
Because I have these in their order of sales code numbers. So
I wonder if this swatch will actually do it justice. I feel like it probably won't.
It's also, the lighting is not ideal for that.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah, that is nothing like what it looks like.
That looks like
this is one of my favorite colors behind it. Sorrento's turquoise. Sorry for all the punches, but there were 6 Sorrento's turquoise ordered in the US, so these went to the 6 owners.
It's easy to keep track. To keep track that way. Yeah, yeah. That's
very good filing system.
That was like an eggplant. That, like, from this lighting, it looks like an eggplant color, and that is 100% not what that color looks like.
I should send this to the Caribbean green owner.
I think that would be killer.
Since she has the only one in North America, and just send her like, "Hey, girl, I cut this for your car."
That's cool.
Fresh. So in case you guys didn't know today, you're tuning in to the Golf R Hour.
Apparently, we can talk about other
yeah,
shit.
that is no. I am all in on that. But if we can though, and I know this is a topic where there's a lot of information that one is just purely not there yet, and two, probably a handful of things that you're not able to disclose at this time. So feel free to just, pass on to the next question. But
I have like a buzzer. Like,
yeah, just whatever you got to do. I'm
just say
down
no.
with,
No.
but
Just say no.
no.
no means no, Charles.
How are things looking for Mark 8 GTI and R in and I don't know how involved you are with rest of world, because those cars are already released if I'm correct, which
Europe
knows.
just went on sale with GTI, if I'm not mistaken, about a month or two ago. I might be off a little bit, but it's still pretty fresh. Golf R not on sale quite yet in Europe, but soon. So, grand tradition of North America getting everything one model year later continues, right? So that GTI and that Golf R in Europe are 2021 models. Ours should arrive back end of this year as 2022 models. So yeah, I'm to answer your question about how involved are you, and that's my whole life. So yes,
I knew you were for US,
yeah,
but I didn't know how much you're involved. I assume even if you're not directly involved, you're probably still well connected in the rest of the world happenings for the golf.
Yeah, it's looking good. I'm thinking if I do the math quickly and I convert our calendar week system to actual months, third quarter, fourth quarter. Let's just call it early fourth quarter to be safe. And that's basically what we mentioned to the media, I think, a couple months ago for GTI and Golf R. Oh, that's what's really cool. First time ever, GTI and Golf R arrive at the same time.
That's cool. Do you think...
Yeah.
I have an opinion on this, but you also don't know what I'm going to say, so you may not have an opinion on it yet. Do you think there will be any someone will one scavenge sales from the other? So, Golf R and GTI traditionally were released separate. I think 15 was probably the closest they'd ever been for the new model, because the R is typically 1 year after.
Yeah, they were the same model year, but the R came a bit later in 15.
6 months,
I believe,
right?
As DSG only that year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think people are going to have a tough decision to make? I mean, the price delta is pretty large on the GTI and the R, I think.
Dude, it's hard. So if I only look at it from a purely data-driven, demographically driven set of things and keep it super business, no, they're not going to poach from one another. It's you've got an aspirational GTI buyer who's I'm all about that GTI. This is what I can afford. This is what I'm excited about. You could also have somebody who can afford a Golf R but prefers a GTI, right? And then you have somebody who's all about Golf R.
So what I actually have experienced, and I've seen this a lot on our end from the customer's perspective, is what I see happen is there are Golf R owner types or owner sets that might fit into the demo of what would be a Golf R owner, but because they have to have the latest model at launch, they buy a GTI and then they'll buy an R, 2 years later, or a year and a half later, whenever the content of what specifically they want is around. And that is way more common than you would think. Yep. I mean, it doesn't seem like it would be that common, but it's pretty common. I mean,
that's awesome.
I'm personally...
That's probably a better way to ask the question that I have.
No, it made
well
sense.
Thought out way.
No, it made sense.
I'm personally in a decision of I'm trying to figure out what model I'm going to be getting a Mark 8. Regardless, for me, the decision's a little bit different than for regular people, because it's not one versus the other. It's more of which one fits the correct demographic for content properly and blah blah whatever. So that's a different decision for
DAP stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
excited to see what you choose.
I'm leaning towards GTI.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a more
really
mainstream
does.
model, and that's probably what I'll end up getting just for that fact alone. But
I think what's going to make it difficult with Mark 8 is how well, from a base GTI to a Golf R, everything is equipped. And I think that's not necessarily going to blur the lines that much, but just like, back in the day, like maybe an entry-level GTI wouldn't have
a lot of shit.
Digital climate control. It wouldn't have a lot of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, because there have been so many synergies in the factory with all of the Golfs being built in Wolfsburg again, there's kind of this like base level standard of equipment worldwide now for GTI. So that really levels up the GTI for Mark 8. But at the same time, that also really levels up Golf R even higher. So I think we're able to, again, speaking from like my business mindset, preserve that delta between a GTI and a Golf R in terms of content, as well as performance and all the other stuff. Because I think personally, the Mark 8 Golf R is more far removed from the GTI than ever in terms of performance capabilities.
Yeah, no,
programmability.
I
so
think
it'll be
that's
cool
true
to
for
see what
sure.
happens.
Yeah, I think that's true in terms of performance in the factory, because almost historically it was like okay, all-wheel drive, yes, a little it gets more power, but otherwise it's the same car. Right. And I think there's a lot of other ways that it's different now, or at least it seems to be. I haven't seen one in person. Have you? I assume you've seen one in person.
It's funny you should assume that.
Yeah, I guess you're not working in your office. I guess this is a salty flavor that's about to come.
No, I mean,
no salt here.
I like salt on my margaritas, but apparently not my margarita wine. It's a little too sweet for that. Anyway, the closest I've come to a Mark 8, I got to sit in a mocked up interior a couple of years ago, which was pretty way far off from production, so that doesn't count. And then in 2019, I presented alongside a life-size clay model of a Golf R to our dealer body at a national dealer meeting. But no, I have not seen an actual Mark 8 in the flesh yet. Super excited for that.
Parts and service managers meeting, I assume?
No, we have it was a sales meeting back in November of 2019.
I see.
Yeah.
In the before time.
In the before time. Yeah, we had a life-size clay model. Like painted body and everything.
How tempted were you to take your fingernail and just go like in the clay model?
Well, it's
because I would have been super tempted.
Painted. No. It has body parts on it.
Oh.
It's just underneath.
I want to picture just a brown, just a brown turd of a I just want to.
That's what I was picturing too, as a brown turd, like a spray painted brown turd.
No. Underneath the body panel, yeah. But basically, the interior of the car is a Mark 7 or a Mark 7.5. So like you could drive, like steer it and move it around, but there's no motor. There's no, yeah. It's just life size, and that's what cracks me up. Actually, one of the comments I keep seeing online, I love subjective design comments, but one of the things I keep reading is people are like, "Damn, the Mark 8 looks like a Tiguan. It looks so tall," and I just want to be like, it's actually an inch lower, like in terms of roof height, than the Mark 7, and that cracks me up.
The styling, I agreed, especially with the original renderings. When I've seen them in actual pictures now since the real model release, I feel a little bit differently. But the styling of the rear felt very SUV like to me in the original renderings. Now, since then, I've kind of changed the aesthetic. I always liked the Mark 8. I don't feel. I
love the rear.
Most people, I don't feel the way most people feel at new model launch, which has been historically, you've been around for a while, Charles also as well. Everybody has the exact same things to say every fucking time. It's
right.
like
so fucking ugly. What a piece of shit.
10% of people like it.
It looks 90%
of people
Corolla.
say fuck this piece of shit. And then they say I'm never going to buy it, mostly because they're not the type of person who's going to buy it, because they weren't going to buy one regardless, and because they're going to wait a couple of years and then buy one shortly, and then they come out and model sales are great. The only car to me aesthetically that was the least attractive at launch relative to the other ones is the Mark V, and that
Mark V was tough to love. For some reasons. Technologically, it was a leap from Mark IV.
Huge leap.
Huge. Whoa.
In every way, from
performance,
both, a customer facing standpoint, a technician standpoint, it's totally different.
TSI,
but man,
DSG, wow.
She ain't a looker. That is how I feel.
She's a little, I mean, she's cute as a Golf. She's cute as a Rabbit, but as a GTI,
I do like the Rabbit. Yeah, I think it was the Jetta that just was not my.
Like a Mark V GLI.
A Mark V Jetta felt so much like a Corolla of that same era.
But it was too luxurious also.
But it was way too expensive. And that was
what I was selling back then. Yeah.
Well, you were in sales at the time?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. So I actually sold cars around that time for a very brief period of time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I moonlighted while
it's a hard job. It's a really tough job.
And I remember people would be like, oh, hey, let me check out this Passat. And they'd be like, I went to Honda and that car was $8,900 less than this Passat, and you're like, "Well, fuck me."
Are you talking about a B6 Passat?
Yeah, B6.
Oh, yeah,
Passat.
I mean that was tough. That was tough. Those were nice.
Yeah, I know. My wife had one. She had a Passat wagon many years ago.
The B6 wagon is sexual. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, I love the B6 Passat wagon. If you get an FSI B6 Passat wagon. And
no man, VR6 4Motion.
Well, if you can get one, but that's a whole different thing.
My coworker I would bought also his dream Passat wagon, VR6 4Motion Sport Package 2, the super sport seats, Dyne Audio, the 18.
It was like a $42,000 car in 2006.
Correct.
Well, crazy.
It wasn't an 06 wagon
or whatever, 07, whatever. Okay,
get it right, Paul.
Come on, man.
That was amazing, by the way. I actually will throw out the very rare limited 2010 2-liter turbo FSI with the DSG was a phenomenal
Passat or Jetta Sport wagon?
Passat.
Okay. Passat. Oh yeah, Jetta Sport wagon.
It was just
1 year.
There was just the 1 year of the DSG.
That's right. Yeah, we had the one trim strat. It was like the comfort trim.
TSI
2-liter.
Yeah.
TSI.
I hate myself and hate my life and like to spend all of my days fixing oil leaks and timing chain tensioners. So that's why I would pick a TSI.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick a TSI.
Yeah.
I would not.
I would pick a TSI.
I would not pick a TSI. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's not a good choice. FSI. I'll change 100 cam followers before I fix chains and oil leaks and everything else. So that was a content car that I thought the timing, it was really interesting because that was the shift time when VW went from very expensive relative to its competition, then went to B7, Mark 6, Jetta.
And shit changed a lot.
Right. It got weird. People got mad.
That's when I first started at corporate. Yeah.
Yeah, people got super butthurt when the Mark 6.
That's the best way to put it.
When the Mark 6.
Holy shit, Paul! I remember that was my first trip to Mexico for work. I was in Puebla, and they were introducing the A6 Passat to us, A6 Jetta, and I was like, "How are we going to sell this thing? It has drum brakes."
Drum brakes. That, by the way, if you were to
replace, it has a 2-liter ABA and drum brakes.
That's not an ABA engine code. It's just a
shittier version of the ABA is what it was. But those drum brakes cost like 3 times more to replace all the parts.
Oh, it's fucking
than
wild.
A set of disc brakes. Mm-hmm. Those rotor or the drums at one point were like $300 a piece.
The shoes. Ugh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was interesting, and we had to do these. So I was a stand-up trainer back then, not like a stand-up comedian, but a stand-up trainer, and having to sell the sales consultants and everybody else at the training on drum brakes being as good as disc brakes.
Good luck.
We had like data for it in dry braking, and they were fine in dry braking. We just didn't talk about wet braking.
Yeah. Well,
And then lo and behold, it was bad.
there weren't even that many of them, though. I mean, that
no, because it was only the S trim. It was the base trim, and they didn't exist.
And they were so rare. And actually, funny enough, one of the guys who works here, he has a Jetta S. That's a 2-liter drum car.
With black plastic mirrors. Yeah.
It's fine. It's a reasonably reliable car.
It's reliable.
Whatever. And this is something that probably most of the people won't know that existed that I know. Megan, you'll know it. Charles, you may not know this existed. They had the ad cars back then that were non-air conditioning cars in
Correct.
the fucking South, which is crazy.
That was our sub $15,000 car.
That car
so
I
cheap.
think was $12.99 new. I think. Now I don't remember.
I thought that was a $14,995 car.
It was definitely less than that.
It was cheap.
It
didn't have AC. It didn't have cruise. There was actually a fair amount that didn't have cruise control.
Am I mixing up like a Jetta 3 that didn't have a radio with a Jetta 6 that didn't have a radio?
I don't know that any of the 6 didn't come with radios.
Because do you remember the Jetta 3 radio delete?
Yeah.
We had a few of those.
There was a plate or whatever.
Crazy. Yeah.
That plate's probably worth 40 times more today than
Jamie
it was.
Orr
Jamie
probably has done an episode on it.
Most of them just have hole saws drilled into the gauges in them.
Wait a minute. I'm triggered. I did buy the fancy 42 draft gauge plate for mine, and it has a turbocharger on it. I had a customer one time speaking on those A6 Jettas. They were trying to buy this car at a rock lot or something, and so they bring it for a pre-purchase inspection. And I go out there and I look at it, and they're like, "Hey, can you check the air conditioning and make sure it works?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem at all." So it's parked in the service drive, and I walk out there and I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, yeah, drum brakes. It's the one that doesn't have any of the shit. I look in the thing, and it's got an aftermarket cruise control stock in it. I'm like, okay, well, someone added cruise control because
interesting.
All the fucking electronics are there. You don't need to add more shit for fucking cruise control to work. So they added cruise control because the car didn't come with cruise control. Fun fact of the way they did it, they put a little sensor zip tied to the subframe, and then a magnet on the axle so that it could pick up how fast the axle was spinning, which is cool.
That's some Bill Nye the Science Guy shit.
Yeah, it's not too terribly different from how a wheel speed sensor works, but it was cool because it was just a little magnet electrical taped onto the axle, and I'm like, okay, I'll check the air. So I get in it and I look down. I'm like, what? There's temperature change, but there's no AC button. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. So I get out and I go under the hood, and I'm like, there's no AC compressor in this car. This is the first one I've ever seen. I think probably the first VW I've ever seen without air conditioning, because all cars have air conditioning.
Other than all those Corrados with AC deletes.
The amount of people that want people to delete air conditioning is infuriating. Y'all ever sat in traffic when it's 100 degrees out? That shit sucks. Yeah. I want air conditioning.
Yeah, definitely.
Me too. And so this is something from the factory side you probably have never seen before, but my dealer that I worked at the time had one of those El Strippo no AC cars.
El Strippo.
That's what I call them. I don't know. They had crank
windows.
We
just call it a stripper.
Yeah. The ad car, which legally they only buy because they can't place ads, blah, blah blah, whatever. Regular people probably don't know that shit, but that's the way it works.
Other manufacturers do it too.
We had that car. Oh yeah, everybody does it. It's part of the game. We had that car, I think, for 2 years.
We call that having 2 birthdays in inventory.
And I think it sold for $9,000. And
Jeez.
The number of times, and this is the shit. See, this is the shit that makes you blow a fucking gasket when you're in a dealership. The number of times that a fucking idiot salesperson came to Parson, they were like, hey hey, I got this customer on this Jetta. What's going to cost to put air conditioning on it? And it's like, no, fucking no, fucking no. That's how much it's going to cost.
Used car lot.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Lot.
And so these are the conversations you have to have with idiot car sales.
Can we like segue that into like weird dealership stories, weird inventory stories, like whatever? We were talking about weird colors earlier, and we're talking about weird cars now, right?
Yes.
And you talked about a car that had like a 2-year birthday in inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So I was selling in like 05, 06. Just to give you a flavor, like B5 and a half time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
B5,
Passat
Mark 5.
Right. So Passat wagon, B5 and a half, still super duper shared like Audi A4 stuff, whatever. We had this Passat wagon 1.8T 4Motion manual.
Nice.
Which now people will fucking like bust a nut over that wagon, right?
But that 4Motion wagon was so slow.
Right. It was slow as Christmas.
It was pitiful.
And to make matters worse,
it was beige on beige.
No. It was worse than
it was Old probably Man United
Gold
Gray.
On Old Man Tan. Nope. No, that was not a B5 and a half color.
What?
Samoa Red.
Yeah. First of all, hold on. Let's back up. Are you telling me United Gray was not a B5 and a half color?
No, you're thinking of Silverstone Gray, dude.
Yeah.
I owned a United Gray B5 and a half wagon.
Dude, no, you didn't.
I don't think so.
All right, I'm going to know that one of us is right.
Color.
Look up the Google machine.
Right.
I'm like
I have the order guides for it.
Yeah. I mean, she works for corporate, but I'm not like 90% sure.
Anything. There are
I refuse to believe
know more than I do. Come on.
90. I'm pretty sure United Gray wasn't a B5 color.
You're thinking of Silverstone Gray or.
Because every silver in B5 was a metallic color. They didn't have any flat ones.
That's true. So anyway, this Samoa Red car. Have you guys seen Samoa Red?
Yeah, it's like a maroonish cinnamon. Cinnamon is probably what I would describe it as.
That's a loving way to describe it, Paul.
Yeah, fair.
So Samoa Red, B5 and a half wagon, 1.8 manual 4Mo, expensive, slow. Sat for 2 years. And there are probably people out there who are like, oh man, if I could just get that car now.
I'd kill someone for it.
It probably also had did it have a beige interior?
Of course it did.
No, this one actually, I think it was black interior.
What?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. That's a cool fucking car, man.
That's not a bad color combination. Even though that color is not the best, I'm not a huge fan of that red.
But with a black interior, not the like light, ultra light.
Dude,
tan?
that like buttery, that like yellowing buttery beige
not
interior.
A fan.
I don't even know why they make fucking beige cars anymore. Honestly, it's like, unless you're over the age of 98, what the fuck do you want a beige car for? Like,
beige interior?
Seriously, what the fuck is going on?
I don't think I even have a beige interior on any of the cars that I deal with.
It's like,
I don't.
You get in a car and it's like, oh, hey, these floor mats are beige. I want them to last 6 weeks before they're completely fucked up. What is
Give
wrong?
me some of them monster mats, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, parts man.
Yeah, hey. I don't know why anybody wants a beige car. That's all. I hate them aesthetically. Aesthetically, I hate them, but practically, they're all so bad. So not only is so your taste, like that's my taste. Okay, fine, fair. Maybe that's not your taste. You love beige for whatever reason. You're just like
people are like people who have beige interior Corrados are so mad at you right now, Paul.
Oh, I mean. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Other than beige sucks. Okay. I'm sorry. Beige is a sucky color. It's why.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. It's why.
What's worse? Like the gray leather from a Mark IV or the beige leather from a Mark IV?
I would way rather have gray leather. It's not even close. It's like 20 times better. It's bad. It's bad. It gets fucked up just like beige, but it doesn't have the lack of taste to go with it. That's just my opinion. I'm just voicing it out.
I think Charles is mad about the United Gray conversation.
Oh no, but I'm going to research this until I am proven wrong, because I swear that my window sticker for my 2005 Passat wagon said United Gray on it.
I would be shocked myself.
I am at the point in this foolishly willing to lay wager on this. However, I feel like I may be
I think it's just
a very poor choice bet, but
should I go get my work computer?
Was it Reflex Silver and Silverstone? Platinum, not Platinum Gray. Silverstone. That was the only two grays, right?
No, Stonehenge Gray.
Oh, maybe that's the one you're thinking of, Charles.
Stonehenge Gray was very green gray.
No, that's definitely not.
Oh, that's the diarrhea colored Passat. Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
No. I know.
Yeah.
So
what kind of diarrhea have you seen?
If anybody is still watching or listening, here's the most bland 4-door car or station wagon in the most boring color that Paul doesn't hate, gray. I'll be good, but I'm telling you,
I'm looking.
Mark my words. I'm either right or wrong, and I'm fine either way. I've been calling it the wrong color for a lot of years. If I'm wrong.
That's amazing. I like that.
Oh, it'd be amazing if I know something that you didn't, Charles.
Oh shit! Yep, that is not. Don't pride yourself in that.
Yeah.
There are plenty of things to pride yourself on. Knowing something I don't know is not one of them.
Yeah. When it comes to content, I would say I am probably one of the least knowledgeable people, especially once you get past, like, I probably know some of the cars from that area when you're talking about when you're selling. Once you get to like Mark 6, I know nothing. I know nothing about content of anything. What came with what, how, when, whatever. Engine codes.
I like that we each have our own areas of specialty.
Yeah,
we're like the Power Rangers.
It's a really weird Power Rangers group.
Or the Ninja Turtles.
I would go Ninja Turtles over Power Rangers.
I prefer.
Showing my age.
Can I be Donatello?
Yeah,
okay.
You could be Donatello. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Well,
you be Raphael.
In terms of, you also did Arteon stuff, which I think
I do.
Arteon is, well, I guess, doing Arteon stuff. Is Arteon obviously is a car that I like them. I'm curious how well they're going to do relative to how the CC did, being that it fits a similar segment. I think they're also good looking, but the CC, as somebody who owned a CC, and
likewise,
and it was probably the boringest car I've ever owned. I got the most compliments out of any car I've ever owned, and I've owned quite a few cars that are all modified and subjectively good looking. That's what my mom says about me, at least.
My mom says I'm handsome.
But I got the most compliments about my CC. Like, random people at gas stations and fucking stores and whatever else would come up to me, and that's the only car I've ever owned that has been like that. So I think the Arteon fits a similar bill in terms of, I don't know, it's probably more exciting than the CC, to be fair.
It's also a strange difference in how much the automotive industry has changed between the 2009 model year when CC first came out and the 2019 model year when Arteon first came out in the US, right? Like, in those 10 years, what has transpired is pretty remarkable as far as SUVs ruling the world.
Oh, they've fucking taken over everything.
Right? So like, for us, they represent like 60% of our monthly sales, SUVs. And that's for Volkswagen, right? Back in 2009, Tiguan had just come out. Nobody knew what it was. Touareg had been out for a little while and nobody knew what it was.
People knew what the Touareg was.
But like
in the dark times of the Touareg.
You guys knew.
We have had a discussion, actually, and this is my assessment of the Touareg, is the Touareg should have changed names when it went to Touareg 2.
We've talked about this, and I totally vehemently disagreed with you.
That is because people didn't buy the Touareg because of how shitty the Touareg 1 launch was. It was a fucked up launch. It was the worst. And it's the only time Volkswagen's ever launched a car here first before Europe. And they haven't done it again since, probably because they were like, ooh, once you slam your dick in a drawer, you're like,
wasn't there?
Wow.
No, I thought there was a 2003 Touareg in Europe, though.
I think it was a model year 2003, but I think like the timing was right about the same.
Anyway, back to your CC question. Before we try to change
we got super sidetracked.
2008.
Yeah.
Back then, so when CC first came out, like what other super sexy coupe styled sedans were on the market, right? Like you had a Mercedes CLS, which was a few model years old, different segment, obviously. Audi didn't have any sportbacks or anything like that yet. Infiniti wasn't playing in that segment. Maxima was still more of a utilitarian sedan, like trying to compete more with Camry. Acura didn't have like a TLX. You know, they were still like trying to go like RL, whatever. They had a TL and RL. So like CC was this like super unique entry into that segment, right? Like nothing else existed, and people were still all about sedans. So I think that gave CC kind of a fair chance, because also SUVs weren't like crazy popular yet. Now Arteon comes, it arrives late. It arrives to the party where sedans aren't welcome. It arrives expensively, you know, like you can get an A4 premium Quattro with the 45 engine, which doesn't have as much horsepower, but it's still an Audi, for less than an Arteon, but it's an Audi, right? And that's fucking difficult to compete in that segment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, like Infiniti, what is it, the Q50 or the Q60, like gorgeous, well-equipped car. Maxima, TLX, Stinger. Like
Stinger's cool. I got
Stinger's cool.
I'm gonna go on record and say that Stinger is pretty cool.
Like Arteon is gorgeous. The style, I know styling is subjective. I know that's one of my children, but Arteon is gorgeous. It's expensive. It's super well equipped. It has amazing luxury features. It's probably like one of the last, like one of those like mythical like German Volkswagens, right? That just has all of that luxury stuff in it. That reminds us of like those B6 days or those B5.5 days of Passat. But
speaking of B5.5 Passat,
people just want SUVs.
Megan, check your phone real quick, because you know in the last 7 or 8 minutes what I was doing was finding the VIN to my Passat, going on the hub, finding the VIN data of my
United
car,
Gray?
X6,
which
holy shit,
was fucking United Gray.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay,
Wow.
You're right.
Sorry, I am that fucking petty.
Hey.
No, I love you for it though. I am the same way. Damn, dude.
That is paint code LA7T, in case anyone wants to know. United Gray.
I remember X6X6.
Charcoal. My work here is done. I have pointlessly corrected someone, and now I feel really fucking good about myself.
You should, but
at the expense of someone else.
Let the record show that Silverstone Gray was a lot more common.
Hey, that's fine. All the other things are fine. I just I needed to make sure that I wasn't completely off my fucking rocker, like calling that white, what is it, Onyx white?
And
when you
spelling
call
it Onyx white.
The whole fucking
and I'm like,
time.
Onyx is black, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm not smart, so that's
you are.
Just thankfully a product of public education.
You and me both.
We tree.
Okay.
I have nothing more to say today.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I love Arteon. Artie is special, but it's a tough world to be a niche 4-door sedan right now.
I feel like it also just like by that much misses the mark on deciding what it wants to be. Does it want to be this really like cool horsepower, fun sport like the Golf R if it were a 4-door sportback, really in the A5 sport category, or does it want to be something a little more luxurious? It's kind of like one toe in each pool.
I was reading in the Arteon forum on vortex, and an Arteon owner actually put really succinctly exactly what you're trying to fit Arteon into, Charles, and why he chose the car. He's like, I didn't want an SUV. I couldn't do a hatchback anymore. I wasn't going to do cars X, Y, and Z, but this car has like massive liftback cargo capacity, so it reminds me of a hatchback, and I can put like bicycles and golf clubs back there. The back seat's fucking huge, so I can put my tall ass kids back there. My wife likes it because it's a gorgeous car. I like it because it's pretty sporty, and I put it on coilovers, and it's like good at being all those things. Like, is it the fastest sedan? Hell no. Does it fit the most shit in the trunk? Not compared to some things. Is it the cheapest car? No. So it's kind of like good at being a lot of stuff.
I feel like, well, first of all, the CC was desperately unpractical because it doesn't have that lift back. The Arteon having that lift back changes the dynamic tremendously, because when I had my CC, I think I just had one kid, but a fucking car seat was a pain in the dick to get in and out of. Like, I heard. Yeah, is it that low roof line to try to put a kid into a car seat around that low roof line was terrible. But along with that, it wasn't even a car you could like fold seats down and actually get shit in, because it was a sedan, and a Golf was way more practical. The only problem with Golfs is the rest of America doesn't take you serious as a person.
As a GTI driver, I feel attacked.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I were more triggered, but that's spitting facts.
Yeah.
So yeah, whenever we need to go somewhere important, we jump in the Touareg.
Yeah, and the reality is that like whatever, I could give a fuck less what people think about me. I drive around rolling billboards that look ridiculous. But if you care, and especially if you have like a job or a career that like fits a certain criteria, like you're a real estate agent, or you're in outside sales, or you're in whatever, it's like you can't drive a hatchback car and then put clients in your car, because they look at you like you're a fucking idiot. Even if it's a $40,000 Golf, they don't give a shit. They just like, what the fuck? What is this? Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, what is this thing? And so that dude, I feel like that person Arteon is actually a good fit for.
Good point.
But the problem is
for businessmen,
business-ish people who do certain type of things that involves client getting in and out of their car, whatever. But the problem is with the Arteon, I think just didn't have enough power. I feel like for the Arteon to really get some roots, to get like real roots in, it needed more power. Otherwise,
let me make a note of that and see if I can change that for it's model year 21 ship of sailed cars on sale. Let me see if I can change that for model year 22 for you.
Megan's actually updating via her phone all of the current Arteons on the road to give them about 75 more horsepower.
She is directly responsible for engineering the software along with the vehicle contents. So she's gonna get it right on that part.
I will. Just stay tuned.
Yeah, to me, I feel like that was the only thing that with that car, because I feel like the problem is it gets classed into the price point, bumps it into a different type of.
It does. That's a whole different echelon,
right?
Especially the fully loaded one. It's like
what's like 50
46.
grand?
No, it's like 46,995. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I just call it 50 grand as far as I'm concerned. A $47,000 car is 50 grand in my eyes. So yeah, 50 grand for a car. It's like you could get a 5 Series.
Do you want one though?
No. Okay. But I'm just saying you could. I don't. But regular.
It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
It is really tough.
Had the CC had a lot of the liftback, especially what the Arteon has, it probably would have lasted a little longer or done a little bit better. But when you boil it down to it, whether it's the manufacturers driving the direction of consumer or the consumers driving what the manufacturers make in the United States market, everybody wants an SUV, right? And that is just where we're at today. I I mean, we own an SUV. My wife drives a Touareg. It's awesome. I drove from my house to my parents' house 900 miles away and stopped for fuel one time, which is fucking outrageously cool.
Love that.
Except it totally threw off like my going to the bathroom when I stopped to get gas thing.
That's
but
where TDI is like, fuck you.
yeah, that is what it is. But that's what most people in the United States market are driving. I'm a Golf driver. I love having a small hatchback that you can fold the seats down and you can fit. I mean, I can fit as much in this blue Golf, well, not so much this one because it's literally almost completely disassembled. All the parts are out, but I can fit just as much in this blue Golf as I could in our Tiguan.
Yeah, same. It's same thing. I mean, that's obviously the silliest part, right? Is America hates hatchbacks. Except for they like tall hatchbacks. They love tall fucking hatchbacks.
They love tall fucking hatchbacks.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you know,
they hate wagons too.
Oh,
but they like tall big wagons.
Yeah, you take a wagon, you yank that roof line up about 4 inches. Love it. It's the best.
That's like the magical Subaru Outback formula.
Yeah. I feel like,
which is like, I feel triggered by the Outback.
I feel like the Subaru Outback is such a unique demographic of a certain type of clientele.
I think there are. Careful. I think the overlap between the Outback clientele and the Volkswagen clientele is far greater. They all go to Whole Foods and park terribly in the parking lots.
Oh, it's definitely an overlap for sure. I mean, back in the day, it used to be Subaru VW dealers together. I was struggling to not say.
We can all read your mind. Like every single person knows, like it's just like in text right across your forehead. And, you know, speaking of VW and Subaru, this is where when the All-Track came out, I wanted to like the All-Track so much because it to me is the car that really could personify or car-sonify VW as a brand, right? It can do all the things. It's comfortable. It's big. It's all-wheel drive. You can take it anywhere, go anywhere, do all your stuff, right? All your shit that you want to do. I think, though, I was so salty about the All-Track because had Volkswagen produced that car 10 years before it came out,
it would have killed. Yeah.
It would have destroyed, and they would be light years ahead of where they were. Cause like, that's what people clearly Subaru figured out. This is what people want. A utilitarian wagon that goes wherever they want and is, well, I guess they don't really care about reliability in the Subaru world, but they have it and they want it. And I was always, and even still today, I'm like, I want to like the All-Track more than I do. It's just, damn it. I wanted to like this 10 years ago, not on the heels of like some shitty Dieselgate stuff.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I have an All-Track. We beat the living shit out of it.
Yeah, you have the red one.
Yeah.
I had a Great Falls green one. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that color.
That is a neat color. So I agree. On the terms of contents, I think there's lots of variability. And so for anybody at home, whoever is cursing at Megan, thinking that she hasn't done what she wanted, she probably doesn't have as much control as she probably would like. If she was the dictator of content, I think we probably have a different mix than we actually have.
Dictator of content. God, that should be my new job role.
Yes. Send her the business cards.
We call it the
I will say though, to our fellow Volkswagen drivers and owners, you can take some comfort in the fact, as you saw or heard today, whether you're listening or watching, that there are, even though it may not seem like it, based on some of the vehicles we get for US market and rest of world gets, there are some tried and true enthusiasts at the corporate level that are really working hard to like get the cool shit that we all want. Cause I promise you, they probably want that shit too. So it's not just Johnny Pencil Pusher trying to pinch the pennies on. Maybe it should be Johnny Penny Pincher. That one's harder to say. So we'll go with Johnny pencil pusher, which is exactly the fucking same. So disregard those things. But yeah, there are some enthusiasts out there in the VW corporate world that want all the same rad shit that we do. So maybe one day it'll happen like the Spectrum package did, because that was pretty fucking cool.
I think that's well said. And I think that is an episode. Megan, do you have anything else you'd like to share for us before we end this?
Hashtag save the manuals, but also hashtag DSGs are cool too.
Everybody in the comments is going to say DSGs are faster. That's an
only
episode.
if you don't know how to drive with a man pedal.
I don't want to start a comment war. I just want to
I want to start a comment war.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
dude,
Let's
I don't
start
want the
that
thread to, like in before the lock because everybody is like blowing each other up over transmission choices.
Megan, you're thinking about it wrong. The extra
algorithm
comments
loves it.
leads to
It.
promoting the
I
video.
know.
All the comments. So I'm going to take the firm stance that if
DSGs are faster.
If you don't drive a manual transmission car, you don't know how to drive, and you probably suck at life.
I mean, I feel like the sucking at life part is a given.
All my cars are manual, just saying.
Yeah, listen, hey guys, Megan doesn't suck at life. Why do you? That's an episode. Catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.